Welcome back to the show, everybody. Check out these headlines we have for you today. I tell you what, things are moving quick. Bitcoin and USD Tether may have a lot of trouble in front of them. We're going to talk about it. There is a huge narrative change today. You're going to need to see it. And Bitcoin backing US dollars? What? The congressman writes the SEC and says they need to adhere to the ruling, the Torres doctrine. You're going to want it. Chris Larsen is dropping fire, and we got a judge in a Coinbase case asking the tough questions that the SEC can't answer. And the IMF and XRP and FedNow and XRP, and somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. You can follow us on Twitter and YouTube for exclusive content. Right now, we're looking at the XRP Ledger HQ site. It is the central hub for the XRP crypto community. You can promote your business, project, or token on this page if you'd like. If you reach out to them, there's a link underneath the video. You can check it out. Right now, the current market cap for cryptocurrency is $1.25 trillion. The market is up 0.19% in the last 24 hours. Bitcoin now 29,900 plus. Ethereum 1,900 plus and change, and we see Tether market cap 83.7 billion plus, either an all-time high or next to it. 79 cents right now, holding strong, up 5.19% right now on the 24-hour is XRP, and up 67.9% on the 7-day, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get into this. This right here, the stage is set. I want to let everybody know we did touch 81 cents hours ago, early hours of the morning here. 2 million XRP is being traded per minute right now. Bloomberg covered yesterday that XRP has surpassed Bitcoin in trading volume. I have said this over and over before the decision was in. What would the institutions and retail investors do once there is legal clarity for the only digital asset in the United States? Yes, it is XRP, and this is the home of the only digital asset with clarity in the United States of America. It is Digital Perspectives, ladies and gentlemen. And this is Glint Pay right here. There's no legal clarity issues with this. This is your way to have a personal alternative to banking with Glint Pay. You can get 50% off right now if you put in DPV50. Click the link underneath the video. Get 50% off your vaulting and insurance fees for your physically allocated gold that you own, and you can spend through your MasterCard debit card and become your own banking system with gold, baby. And guess what else? CEO Jason Cousins from Glint has just announced days ago that they will be building, now that they are celebrating the legal clarity for the only digital asset in the United States, XRP, they will be building a crypto bridge to that gold platform. Don't mess around. You can also get private equity for Glint on Link 2. Link underneath the video for that too. Let's look at what the market that does not really have the clarity really look like. No one's ever really come out and blessed USD Tether, but we don't know if that was who was investigated or these seizures from the Secret Service. The U.S. Secret Service officials seized funds from crypto-friendly Bahamian bank Deltec Bank, which is also the bank for USD Tether. If you remember, BitBoy went down there, shout out to him, and found that there were 2 parking spots for USD Tether down there for that $80+ billion company. And this here says authorities were authorized to confiscate up to nearly $105 million from the bank's U.S. accounts, but it didn't say who it was. So I am speculating for clarity. Is this USD Tether? We don't know the answer, but I tell you, if this market's going to be clear and have clarity, we got to know. But I tell you what, I think Bitcoin just jumped the shark. Look, I've got a huge amount of respect for Caitlin Long, and I mean a huge amount of respect for Caitlin Long. But the libertarian in me loves what is going on with Bitcoin and the idea of having a money like this. But do you know what? There's problems here. And if you're not familiar with it, if you're old enough to know Happy Days and Fonzie and the rest of it, and that jump to shark moment that you're seeing right now, is a phrase that has really come to be because it's when the show had nothing left to give. They were doing stupid stunts like this of jumping sharks to try to keep viewers watching the show. And I think this may have been a jump to shark moment here that is now showing presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. announces plan to back the U.S. dollar with Bitcoin. Somebody may want to tell presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who I like a lot. I think he's a great guy. But you know what? Here's the problem. The Bitcoin algorithm SHA-256 was created by the National Security Agency. It's not a libertarian movement, ladies and gentlemen. It's a hoax. You can do what you want with that. And speaking of hoax, look at this. I'm not going to play this because there's music in it. I'm not sure if it's copyright. But what I can say is you're watching here is a Greenpeace, obviously, you know, an organization going after a green world and not high energy use. Bitcoin consumes more electricity than entire countries, such as Argentina, Sweden, Belgium, Norway, Finland, and others. In the U.S. alone, Bitcoin pollution, 7.5 million gas-powered cars. It says right here, if you keep looking, they keep showing other things, 100% pollution, 0% safe. This is the narrative they're showing. Jamie Dimon, then they're going to show BlackRock and Larry Fink, right? This is the push, and you have to ask yourself, look at the asset that's got clarity. I tell you, people keep trying to say only Bitcoin and XRP have legal clarity. I push back. No, Bitcoin doesn't. Show me the legal ruling from a judge as a matter of law that says Bitcoin has clarity. It doesn't. It has an opinion from appointed regulators. And as we know, Gary Gensler thinks it's okay too. But Gary Gensler just got his ass put back in line too on XRP, didn't he? So let's take a listen to this. I love it too. Shout out to DAI for this clip here. This is Chris Larsen on Gary Gensler. And boy, does he lay it down here. Take a listen. Go, Chris.
Real crime here by Gensler and the SEC is a power play. They're using their enforcement action to shake down people into submitting to settlements so they gain power so he can regulate a huge industry.
Exactly.
And probably the
versus the Commodities Trade Commission.
It should be in the CFTC.
So, oddly enough, I was at a party where someone from the commodities regulators and the SEC were arguing with each other, and I was standing in the middle of them. We should have it. No, we should have it. But they're essentially alleging that selling and distributing XRP, you were all raising capital from investors in order to finance the business where you argue it's a commodity. Correct?
Yeah, and that's completely incorrect.
Right.
The protocol was absolutely functional before anything was ever sold. It's just an asset that existed.
So this is the essential problem that you face. So you're not alone. The SEC has said almost 70 crypto tokens are securities. Why do you think he's been so aggressive in going after it? Just a power, like he wants to control it, and she feels like it's close enough to currency.
It's sort of it's sort of the Gary Gensler MO. It's sort of what he did when he was the CFTC, and it's sort of what he did when he brought down LIBOR. By the way, did a bunch of lawsuits, lost all of them, but he doesn't care. Yeah,
futures trade.
Yeah, he's trying to destroy the industry. That's what he's trying to do. Apparently, except Bitcoin. He's a Bitcoin fan. He's always talking about Satoshi, this, that, and the other thing. He did a bunch of tours with Joe Ito back in the day with MIT, all over the world, kind of bashing everything except Bitcoin. I just don't get that. That makes no sense to me. And it's totally inappropriate for a U.S. regulator to take that position. An unelected person, talk about agency power, everything the Supreme Court hates these days. This should go to Congress.
It should go to Congress. And you know what? My apologies for the video clip being slow today. But look, here is the stage being set for that. We know that we've just gotten a ruling where Ripple wins in 90% of that judgment. Now we see Coinbase and the judge in this case clearly asking the right questions here and putting SEC's back to the mat. Let's take a look here. Shout out to Meta Lawman for this. If you're not following him, you should. Digging deep into the transcript of the pre-motion conference in the SEC versus Coinbase, one of my favorite quotes from the judge is, what is the difference between those that are not securities and those that are? And how has that been communicated by the SEC to the investing public and to those involved in the space so that they know that this type of asset may implicate the securities law and some other crypto asset may not? The SEC lawyer answers, paraphrasing, all they need to do, Judge, is read the 1946 Howey case about the orange groves. Obviously unpersuaded by the absurd answer, the judge tries again. I'm just trying to figure out how folks involved in the industry can know, that a particular crypto asset with which they are involved is or is not going to be found at some later date by the SEC to be a security. Exactly. The judge gets it. You're damn right. And so does Meta Lawman. And so does this guy, Representative Richie Torres, who just happens to share the same name as Judge Annalisa Torres here. Needless to say, regulating digital assets through enforcement only had a dreadful day in court last week. In the wake of the resounding decision out of the Southern District of New York Ripple case, SEC must reassess its continued assault on the crypto industry. I'm not going to read this whole letter to you, but it is fire. And I want to share this part with you right here. In a landmark legal opinion, Judge Torres resoundingly rejected the regulatory overreach of the SEC, which has been indiscriminately declaring all crypto assets except Bitcoin to be securities. By emphasizing the need to prove this presence of an investment contract, Judge Torres' reasoning represents a return to a rigorous application of the Howey test, which has been applied sloppily by the SEC. Goes on to say, indeed, the latest court decision establishes a clear rule that should bear the name of Judge Torres, who has brought long overdue legal clarity to the chaos of crypto regulation. The Torres Doctrine, as I call it, holds that crypto assets are not securities in themselves, but can be sold as part of investment contracts which do qualify as securities under the Howey test. Judge Torres has made it crystal clear to the SEC that digital assets are not securities in the abstract and that it lacks legal authority to regulate digital assets untethered from an actual securities offering. You can't be any more clear than this letter is, I'll tell you that. All over the place, yes, no, maybe so. The SEC has chosen to communicate and regulate not by clear rule or guidance, but by enforcement actions, often politically timed. The endless stream of contradiction and confusion, as well as the arbitrariness of the enforcement actions themselves, is the opposite of fair notice. I hope the SEC will find itself so chastened by the court's decision that it will concentrate the Commission's enforcement energies where it belongs, on a bona fide bad actors who perpetrate serious transgressions like fraud, market manipulation, and the misappropriation of customer funds. How about that? Go Richie Torres. Whoa, man, do I wish I was in New York to vote for that guy. And how about this? Yoshitaka Kitao from SBI here sharing the recent report and insights from Ripple. Now, you guys might know if you saw the earlier video this morning, the value of cross-border payments is expected to explode and reach $250 trillion in just 4 years by 2027. More than half of the global payments and Treasury professionals point to faster payments and cost savings as the top two reasons to incorporate crypto in their cross-border payment business. A seismic shift in finance. The shift is already well underway. More than 80% of global finance leaders expect to begin using crypto in their business in the next 3 years. That's what we're looking at. Meanwhile, Bitcoin's having Greenpeace shine things on the biggest buildings in New York City, exposing the energy consumption of it. Meanwhile, on the legal side of things, the only digital asset with legal clarity is being highlighted by the IMF. Don't believe it. It's still true. They recognize the problem with cross-border payments, that they're opaque and expensive, and the challenges have existed for many, 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 many decades. Possible solution, XRP to resolve the issue with cross-border payments. The IMF paper suggests a greater utilization of swap lines, tokenized money, and transnational marketplace. However, it is also making clear and making a case for further consideration. One such consideration is XRP, it says. The paper highlights strides made by the private sector in solving the challenges faced with cross-border payments. According to the paper, Ripple is among the private firms developing a workable solution using XRP. How about that? Regarding private consideration, the paper says 3 models arise: the private settlement, assess asset, and marketplace, such as Ripple's XRP. It also highlights the Stellar Foundation and Strike's use of Bitcoin and the Lightning Network. Here it is right here. These models arise. This is private settlement marketplace such as Ripple XRP. We all know that out of all of those suggestions right now, Ripple XRP is the one that has clarity. Stellar XLM, I would say, gets the same clarity by default because it's the same code. We'll see how that falls, but I believe that that's what we're going to see. Meanwhile, here's more evidence that things are about to change in a seismic shift way. I do believe, and have said for many years, what we're witnessing is the greatest financial paradigm shift in the history of mankind. Don't believe it. It's still true, and it can't be overstated. And in fact, you're going to see Volante share that knowledge right now, and they're going to be a huge part of FedNow's launch just one day from now. Take a watch.
And Swift Go, plus Ripple, Visa B2B, and Visa Direct, MasterCard Send, and many more.
How about that? Look at that. Isn't that something? Now, you guys heard me say it here on the show, and it wasn't a prediction. I said I was hopeful that we would see a decision in the SEC versus Ripple case for XRP on or before the launch of FedNow, and that has happened. And I believe it's happened because it's going to play a much more significant role than any of us really, truly realize going forward. And if it does, it's going to play a role in how the market reacts too. And right now, don't underestimate the power of 80 cents, says Eggrad Crypto here, an incredible analyst that we use often on this channel. Shout out to Eggrad Crypto for all he does for all of us. A major macro resistance here from February, March of 2018. Flipping it requires incredibly strong bullish momentum. Remember, we were at 79 cents at the start of this video. We hit 81 cents early hours this morning. Will it get up above that 80 cent range as he's highlighting here? And if it does, then we can start talking about conversations like this, that $27 range that everyone talks about so much. There's a lot of people out here that think between $5 and $10. $5 and $10 is about the max it will go when the market finally does move. And then some are saying if the market is extremely bullish and there's a lot of activity, maybe institutional announcements and things of that nature going on to complement the end of this case, or not the end, but the ruling in this case, there's still more to go. It could actually push higher than that to this $27, $30 mark that a lot of people are talking about. One of the things to discuss, and I forget who made the comment on Twitter, and shout out to them if they did, and if I find it again, I will share it. So I wish I remembered your handle so I could give you credit. But someone said, think about, I know who it was. It was Mr. Hubert, and shout out to him. He made a great point. He said, moving between 48 cents to 80 cents is really like moving between $10 and $18. It's the same move. Think of it for a moment. So that kind of explosion from 70 cents to go up again, these moves are really, really indicative of the history of XRP. When it does move, it doesn't move often, but when it does, it's usually in huge jumps. So we can't guarantee anything, but that's the prediction here from Egg Rag Crypto. I like it. I'm holding on to it. I believe XRP can go to 4 and 5 digits myself, and a lot of people think I'm crazy for it, but I don't, and I'm here for it, and I absolutely believe Ripple will make a dent in the universe, and that will be with the help of the digital asset XRP, but that's not financial advice. It's just my digital perspectives. I'll catch all of you on the next one.